Good evening. The bodies of 6 soldiers killed in Afghanistan last week have been returned to Britain. They were flown into RAF Lyneham in Wiltshire and then driven through the nearby town of Wootton Bassett, where thousands had gathered to pay their respects. Those who lost their lives included the 5 soldiers shot by an Afghan police officer. Our correspondent John Kay watched the repatriation ceremony.
They waited for hours in the rain. Fathers and brothers, girlfriends and mothers, widows and children, mates, and thousands of complete strangers.
These are young lads. They're just young lads.
Oh, it's terrible, terrible. You know, to see them come through, it breaks my heart.
Nicola was among the first to arrive. A former cadet, she's now seen 23 of her friends killed in action.
It's really heartbreaking, but knowing they're doing what they loved is, you know, a bit of a help, but I just wish it could be a lot different.
Then, through the gloom, the sight they dread in Wootton Bassett. This time, 6 bodies. 5 of them killed by an Afghan policeman who was supposed to be on their side. Sergeant Major Darren Chant from the Grenadier Guards. His wife is pregnant with his 4th child. Sergeant Matthew Telford served with him. He was married with 2 young sons. At 18 years old, Guardsman James Major was the youngest of those killed. Corporal Nicholas Webster Smith served with the Royal Military Police. He was 24. Corporal Stephen Boot was a member of the Territorial Army. He'd volunteered to go to Afghanistan. And returning with them, the body of Sergeant Philip Scott from 3rd Battalion the Rifles, killed in a separate blast while clearing explosives. This was one of the biggest crowds Wootton Bassett has yet seen. In places, they stood 20 deep. Each of the 6 families paying their own tribute. These the relatives of Jimmy Major, who would have been 19 on Thursday. His father laying a T-shirt on the hearse. The same rituals, but different names. And next week, more families will do this.
As he left here tonight, one local man said to me, it doesn't matter how many bodies come back at a time, or how many times you've seen this before, or what your politics are on the issue of British troops in Afghanistan. What happens here in Wootton Bassett remains uniquely moving.